Hello everyone, this is a second video on the series of gynecological oncology. Now in this video we'll see the basic common concept regarding our tumors. Like what we discuss in gynecological oncology is basically 3 tumors along with some miscellaneous tumors like endometrial cancers, cervical cancer, ovarian cancer and some other miscellaneous cancers like vulval cancer. So our basic point of focus is these 3 basic cancers. Now, as I have said that the tissues we are associated with, the tissues like uterus, cervix, ovary, they all have one common thing if you notice. The cells in them are for quick regeneration and quick degeneration. This is the rule of female reproductive system. The cells quickly regenerate and they degenerate. I use the word quickly because the generation of a cell and then degeneration of the cell within a month is comparatively to be called as a quick event. For example, if we see the endometrium, it develops every month by the growth stimulus of estrogen, then becomes glandularized by progesterone. So glands develop in the endometrium with progesterone and then shedding due to removal of the growth factors of estrogen and progesterone. So lots of genetic activities going on in the endometrium, just like division, then differentiation. For example, once the endometrium has to form, so there will be division, lots and lots of division. Then the glandular formation is be there, so there will be differentiation. So in this higher genetic activity, we have a higher chances of excessive exposure of estrogen and thereby genetic mutation. There is a higher risk of one cell becomes deviated from a normal natural course of cells, that is division, differentiation and die. Now some cell have some amount of genetic mutation at that level that it will be converted into cancer cell. Same occurs with the ovary. Ovary also undergoes too much physical variation in life every month. For example, new growth of follicles is there. Then one follicle becomes dominant, other follicle goes for atresia. They converted into corpus luteum. There are stimulation factors like FSH, LH, apoptosis of the other follicles except the dominant follicles. All these changes are rapid. And that's why they have also a chance of mutation in any pathway of gene control, any pathway of growth. Gene controls the growth. So some genes who are controlling the growth like apoptosis, stimulant, division, differentiation, change in the hormone production, all these things have a higher chances of mutation and deviation from the growth pathway. That's why converting into one cell into a cancer cell, and now that cell becomes cancerous, it will keep dividing and make the cancer. So this is what I'm trying to talk you. Cervix, we have talked about. Cervix is along with the uterus also a very very active tissue. For example, if we see the cervix, we have, this is a cervix, this is a vagina. The vaginal cavity is lined by stratified squamous epithelium. Stratified squamous epithelium. And this thing, the cervix, inner cervix is lined by columnar epithelium in endocervix. So, under influence of estrogen and progesterone, columnar epithelium is favored on the cervix. There is a transition zone. Which is transition zone? Transition zone is the zone of cervix from which squamous epithelium cell readily convert into columnar cell, or columnar cell epithelium converted into squamous epithelium cell, just like this. This is a cervical os. Along with the cervical wall, some amount of epithelium is a columnar epithelium. Then in the vaginal cavity is lined by squamous epithelium. So here is a transition zone. In transition zone, you can find conversion of squamous epithelium into columnar epithelium. This transition zone is not fixed. It moves out and in according to the hormones they are present. Along with the progesterone pills, along with the age, it moves out. Moves out means that the transformation zone along which was here before now comes to here. So this all thing now becomes a columnar epithelium, and this thing becomes squamous epithelium. This is already a squamous epithelium, but sometimes with the atrophy and sometimes loss of hormones, this squamous epithelium develops here also. So if it is a squamous epithelium here, then transition zone comes to here. So the transition zone moves in and out. Basically what I'm trying to say is, in the transition zone there is a rapid change in the squamous cell columnar cell interchange. So squamous cell can be converted into columnar cell can be converted into squamous cell, and there is a higher risk of injury, cell injury. There is a risk of viral infections. This will lead to mutation in the growth regulatory genes, and that will lead to conversion of any cell into a carcinoma cell, and that's why the carcinoma is very common in cervix, and it starts from the transition zone. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to say. Now some risk factors are common in this all three carcinomas that we are going to discuss. For example, estrogen. Estrogen is a hormone of female. It starts dominating from puberty and ends with the menopause. During this reproductive time, estrogen remains the dominant hormone, while the progesterone is a hormone of pregnancy. It opposes the growth stimulus of progesterone. Okay, estrogen. Estrogen is a purely growth promoter. That's why it makes division of the cells or tissue, increasing the mass of tissue. That's why estrogen is a risk factor. Higher amount of estrogen is a risk factor for endometrial carcinoma. Why? Because it is a growth stimulus for the all endometrial cells. What progesterone do? Progesterone is a hormone of pregnancy. It favors differentiation. It does not favor division. That's why progesterone favors differentiation. That's why it is a protective feature. Progesterone is a protective feature for endometrial carcinoma, while estrogen is a stimulant factor is a risk factor for endometrial carcinoma. So estrogen causes endometrial cell division and hyperplasia. Progesterone stops the growth and makes it differentiate and glandular. So estrogen, every month estrogen must be opposed by progesterone. If unopposed estrogen is there for longer time, then it will lead to CA endometrium. So now you understand the role of estrogen. When we discuss the risk factor, there are some common risk factors. For example, nulliparous women. What I want to say by saying nulliparous women, that means estrogen exposure is high, because if the women have multiple pregnancies, then they have a higher exposure to progesterone also, because progesterone is a hormone of pregnancy. But here there is no such pregnancy, so overall exposure to progesterone in comparison to estrogen is very low. That's why estrogen exposure is high in nulliparous women. In PCOD also estrogen exposure is high. Obese patient have more estrogen compared to the lean and thin patient. Tamoxifen and clomiphene, those are some estrogen modulators, so they also make the estrogen exposure high. they also stimulate the receptor of estrogen. Estrogen secreting tumors, then also estrogen exposure is high. Now, so all these conditions I have told you, nulliparous woman, PCOD, obesity, tamoxifen, estrogen secreting tumor, early menarche, late menopause, what is that? That also is an increased amount of reproductive cycles. That's why this thing is suggestive of estrogen exposures. Now, let us smoking. Smoking inhibits the aromatase enzyme, and that's why decreasing the estrogen. So, smoking can be decreasing the estrogen. That's why it can be protective feature for some of the tumors. Now, let's discuss about the common risk factors for all these three carcinoma: the endometrial carcinoma, cervical carcinoma, and ovarian carcinoma. Estrogen is a risk factor for all these three carcinomas. And when I talk about estrogen, it comes to obesity, PCOD, tamoxifen, early menarche, late menopause. Everything comes into higher estrogen exposure. So they all have a risk on all three carcinomas. Now comes to OC pills. OC pills in which there is not only estrogen but progesterone also. So it becomes protective for endometrial carcinoma. It becomes protective for ovarian carcinoma. But it is still a risk factor for cervical carcinoma, because if you see the cervical carcinoma, the mode of having this carcinoma, cervical carcinoma, is different. It's not just depend on the estrogen only. Okay, cervical carcinoma, it's not only dependent on estrogen. It has a viral infection factor also. That's why even with OC pills, estrogen and progesterone, as I have told you, the transition zone activity becomes higher, because with the progesterone, the glandular columnar cells are favored, with the estrogen, the squamous cells are favored. So this all transition zone is activities becoming higher with OC pills. That's why OC pills is a risk factor for CA cervix, but it's a protective feature for endometrial carcinoma and ovarian carcinoma. Now comes to the smoking. As I have told you, smoking decreases the estrogen. That's why it is a protective for endometrial carcinoma and ovarian carcinoma, but is a risk factor for smoking for CA cervix. Why? Because if the patient is having smoking on CA cervix, the higher chances of genetic mutation is there. The protective nature of smoking in form of decreasing estrogen is not working here well. Otherwise, smoking is generally considered as a carcinogen thing. It's not a protective thing, but due to estrogen decreasing capacity of smoking, it becomes a protective feature in CA endometrium and CA ovarian carcinoma. Okay, now let's come to the multiparity. Multiparity, that means that the patients have multiple pregnancies and having estrogen and along with so much of progesterone exposure also. So this will be protective for ovarian carcinoma and endometrial carcinoma, but it's still a risk factor for CA cervix. Now let's do the infections. Infections, so far consider infections have a very less role in the endometrial carcinoma and ovarian carcinoma, but is a very high risk for CA cervix. In fact, the HPV virus, human papilloma virus, is considered as a causative factor for CA cervix. So with the multiparity, with so much of babies, with so much of sex with multiple partners, all this comes to the infection to the cervix, and that will increases the risk of cervical carcinoma. So all this I have right now mentioned you is all about general thing about all three cancers. Now we definitely go all the cancers one by one. Thank you, friends.